Talk to me, tell me. Is it working?
Cheers. I don't know, it says it's live.
We're 1 minute early.
1 minute early. Interesting.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
There's a lag?
Yeah.
You hearing me twice?
Big lag. We've got 5 people on already.
Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us. I'm not sure Benji's monitoring the audio. We're in a weird little room in the back of this pub and we're not really sure. This is the first time I've ever done a live stream, so you're really going to have to bear with us. And we're quite a few beers in as well, so yeah, there's some variables, let's put it that way. So the plan is, we've been at the show today. You've probably seen, if you're watching this now, you've probably seen the video we posted today. So we've had a bit of a recce today. Ben's got a list somewhere. There's probably more than 10. I said 10 in the video. We're just going to run through the people we're going to film tomorrow. And if you want to ask questions and stuff in the comments, awesome. We're also going to have, for the first time, we're going to have a load of swag to give away too. We managed to blag a load of stuff today. So, what is it? People have got to go to Twitter or something, haven't you, Benji? You're the expert on this stuff.
We want people to start following us on Twitter, don't we? So,
right.
At the moment, we're doing really well. We've got like 6
followers on Twitter. So you pretty much, if you follow us on Twitter, you're pretty much guaranteed to win something at this point.
At the moment you are, yeah, definitely. It's easy, just get on Twitter and we're at Superbike Mech, M-E-C-H.
At Superbike Mech, M-E-C-H.
But I think if you just search for, oh no, because there's the old legacy Superbike Surgery Twitter account.
Yeah, so there's there's 2 Twitter accounts, because I had a Twitter account in my own name, which was, I think my original Twitter was at JimBobWR. So it's not that one, it's the one that Benji's just created, which is at Superbike Mech. Is that right?
It is. Thanks, Bradley. It's good to know it's working fine. He says it's working fine.
Alright, that's cool. Like we've got 1 bar of signal.
Pip says, hello chaps.
Hello, this is Pip.
Right. Actually, do we have to give a shout out as well? Because we've had one guy on Twitter, haven't we? That's Andy Ord.
Andy Ord.
Yeah.
If you're watching Andy Ord, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, really appreciate it. Yeah, he says not a question.
Positivity, it's good.
But he says, just want to say thanks for all the great content. Well, the night is young. It might all go downhill from here, mightn't it?
Right, let's get to it. So, let's talk about the people we want to interview tomorrow. I'm going to get straight in with the one I'm really into questioning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to say. I'm going to give them a good drilling, literally, is Chain Monkey.
Well, don't tell them that yet, because they might watch this and think, oh, I don't want to be interviewed now. They might get scared.
Some of you may have heard of Chain Monkey. It's a device that you clamp onto your chain, and it basically puts a kink in the chain, and then you tighten your chain up all the way so that your chain's effectively too tight, and then you take this device off and your chain is supposedly the right tension. I'm not so sure. I've been tightening chains for literally, this is my 30th year as a proper everyday motorcycle mechanic. I started my apprenticeship with Honda in 1989. So I've been doing it a long time, and when you're adjusting a chain, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole with this, but when you're adjusting a chain, you're spinning the rear wheel, and you're checking the tension all the way around. You get to sometimes even with a new chain and sprocket kit, you get to a point where the chain's ever so slightly tighter, and there's too much ambiguity. If you clamp something, we'll talk about this tomorrow, and I don't want to go on and on about it, but if you clamp something on your chain and put like a little kink in it, and they're saying tighten the chain up till it's super tight, right? Literally, like a quarter of a turn of the chain adjuster, you wouldn't feel that in the tightness of that chain. But a quarter of a turn, when you're actually adjusting it without this device, Benji, you're getting the camera, fuck off. Sorry, I'm going off on one. Anyway,
Well,
we'll do this. We'll do this tomorrow.
This will all come out of the wash tomorrow, won't it?
I hope they don't watch this and don't want to be interviewed tomorrow.
Well,
They
no, the
probably
good thing,
won't.
I mean, it's a good opportunity for them
I don't
to.
want to be mean.
No.
You know, it's a Dragon's Den thing, and the guys we spoke to today seemed
They're lovely
they
guys.
seemed awesome.
Look, it's either a good product or it
It's not.
isn't.
And it'll come out in the
We'll
wash.
find
won't
out
it?
tomorrow.
Do you know what I mean? It will come
Yeah.
out in the wash. I just.
Do you know what I'm looking
It
forward to
smells
seeing
of
tomorrow?
gimmickness to me. That
Just to
me.
change the subject.
Go on.
I want the Bluetooth battery thing.
So that's the next one.
Yeah, I want to see that.
So there's a company I deal with who are a trade-only company, and they're not that keen. It's a name you would never have heard of. They're a massive wholesaler of stuff, and they've got their own brand called JMP, and they do this awesome. It's a Bluetooth battery monitor that you basically, it's like this little black box, like the size of this thing here, that's powering the phone that we're using to Livestream on. It's literally this black box, and it's got two. It's got a black and a red wire coming out of it with a little ring terminal on. You connect it to your battery, and it's Bluetooth to your phone. And the app's really nice, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is lovely.
It's
actually,
like
it's really good.
it retails, I think, 35 quid.
Something like that. Yeah.
And I was blown away. The app, you expect something that retails. I know technology's cheap these days, but the app was really slick, and you could basically, it monitors your battery voltage, and it'll graph the battery voltage over time. It'll send you alerts if your battery voltage goes low, and it's not specifically for bikes. You could put it on your car if you've got the way they're selling it at the show. Obviously, this is a trade show, so everybody is in the trade. You can put them to all your bikes that you've got in stock. So in your showroom, you've got 30 bikes in the showroom, and
You can monitor them.
somebody wants a road test, and take it in the workshop, battery's flat. Been there like a zillion times. You can monitor multiple bikes. Did he say how many bikes you can? We'll find out tomorrow.
I want to say 99, but I might have lied. I'm pretty sure it was 99.
Well, that's a lot. So you can monitor multiple
Yeah.
batteries at the same time.
The
So
good thing
that's,
is, that what I want is I want one on my car, one on my wife's car, and then from my house I can see, you know, when I'm in range, can just see exactly what
Yeah.
the health state is.
Yeah.
And actually, there was a cranking thing on there as
Yeah,
well,
there's
wasn't
a-
it? So
yeah, you've got to wonder how accurate that is, though.
yeah, but if it's just an indication, that's all it needs to
Maybe.
be, doesn't it? And then
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know.
it's not it's not an oscilloscope voltage drop, is it? It's going to be a. And we find out tomorrow.
Right, well, we
The
will,
last question.
yeah.
So that's a super interesting one. Benji's really interested, and I've actually I badgered them today to try and get some freebies so we could give them away, and they were a little bit like. So what I've done is I've already ordered some, so I'm definitely giving one of those away on the channel at some point. Probably when the video for that one goes out,
Yeah.
we'll.
There'll be a Twitter campaign
Do I
for
look
it.
like I'm a bit weird because I'm looking at you and the lens is there? Do
I
I
dunno.
look like I'm a bit cross-eyed?
You look weird no matter which way you're looking.
Okay. Yeah, so we're going to give one of those away definitely because I just love it and the app is really cool. I'll do when we do the video for it, we can do a screen grab of the app, can't we, and show people what the app looks like when we do that video.
Yeah. I mean, they might even have some promo material that we can sort of put into that as well. I'm sure there's stuff like that we
Okay.
can have.
Happy days.
Just
Right.
going back to, because I'm quite interested, keen to, you know, the guys that are taking the time out to message us and all the
Yeah,
rest of it.
okay, cool.
So just going back to the
Comments.
comments on the chain tightener thing. Russell Davis says, I'm crap at bike mechanics, but even I can adjust a chain without a device.
What's his name?
Russell Davis.
Russell Davis, I'm absolutely with you. To me, it stinks of gimmick somehow. I think it's like a fundamental skill. When you own a motorbike, a chain drive motorbike, I think we've talked, haven't we, about doing a video about just adjusting a chain.
Yeah. Well, we've done one. We just haven't edited
Yeah,
it.
well-
And actually, we did it about 5 or 6
I
years
looked
ago.
about 12
Yeah, we
in the
did it.
video.
It's still sat in a computer somewhere.
So we'll do that's a good video to do, and it seems like obviously I've been doing it for 30 years, adjusting a chain is just second nature, but for some people there are some sort of weirdnesses to it, and actually it would be good to film it and talk about it. But I agree with you, you should know if you own a chain drive motorbike, you need a panic stand so you can get the back wheel in the air, or an ABBA stand that goes from the swing and arm pivot. Yeah, and you should learn how to adjust your chain, definitely. That's a skill you should have. And you should have the you know, you should have a breaker bar and the right spanners to do it. And yeah, anyway, move on.
Charlie Wright Roberts.
Charlie Wright Roberts, are you kidding me?
No.
This is my brother, guys. You better not be rude, Charlie.
He says, "Good work in the pub."
That's the least abusive thing my brother's ever said to me.
Yeah. But he's just messaged again. He says, "How can it be to adjust a chain, Ben? I reckon even you could have a go at that." That's not nice, Charlie. It's me.
Right, go on then. Next. So next, who else have we got on the list? You haven't even got your list open, Ben.
I'm trying to do lots of things at the same time. You'll have to riff for a minute.
Right, we'll riff. So, off the top of my head, K-Tech suspension. They've got an awesome stand. Most people watching this will probably know about K-Tech. Super high-end suspension components. And they got some interesting twin shocks. And anyway, we'll see them tomorrow. K-Tech, they've got a nice display, and the guy was really helpful on the stand, so I'm quite looking forward to talking to them. Who else we got? We got.
Who are those guys that make the screens and stuff like the
dashboards? Ace.
Ventura.
Not Ace Ventura.
Ace of Spades.
ACDC. No. You're supposed to have a list.
I should, shouldn't I? Just Big Boy Pants.
Big Boy Pants.
Which is one of our Twitter followers now, says, "Is it possible to fit a modern TFT screen to a 2000 VFR 800?
Wow. Okay, so I'm assuming you're talking about having a dashboard. Is that what he's talking about?
I guess that. I mean, that is the
He's
entirety
talking about
of the
having
question.
taking a modern dash from a newer model bike and using it to display. The answer is no, because most of the information for those dashboards are. So how to put it? So if you watch my KTM Crisis video, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole with like techie stuff because that's not what this is about. But a modern motorbike has lots of different modules. So an ABS control module, fuel injection control module, a chassis control module, and the dashboard itself is another module, and they're all networked together. The information that you're seeing on that dashboard is coming in as ones and zeros. It's on the network, so it's like the speed information and stuff is. Message me and I'll gladly have a conversation with you about it, but it's not possible. If that's what he means, I don't really.
I get why. If it's not what he means, hopefully he'll tweet and let us know.
Okay.
So I mean, there's a lot of people that are on the message boards right now saying that chain adjustment is. Ernest Irving is saying that chain adjustment is all down to whoever doing the job.
Ernest Irving.
Yeah, one will say that that's enough slack, and another way, and another will say it's too much.
That Ernest Irving, right?
Yeah.
He's absolutely in my. We keep going back to the chain thing, and I don't want to bore the shit out of everybody. But it's one of those subjects, isn't it? It's like everybody has an opinion about this. He's absolutely right in that there's too much ambiguity, which is why I think this device won't work, because the way it works, and we'll find out tomorrow, because I have to confess I've never used one and I'm reserving my judgment, but you attach it to your chain, it kinks your chain, and you basically over tighten your chain and then take it off. Well, that over tightened state, there's too much ambiguity there. It could be like a half a turn on the adjuster.
Yeah.
So you need to let's not do chain stuff anymore.
No, fair enough.
We'll get to that tomorrow. He's got his list open now, guys. So.
I have, and just going back to the displays guys.
Okay.
Steve McQueen has said, yeah, it's Acewell.
Excuse me.
Acewell. Is that it was
Acewell.
Acewell?
He said exactly. Acewell.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
He?
Yes,
Yeah.
Acewell, of course. Yeah, they've got some really cool stuff on their stand. And I'm kind of interested from a techie point of view. I want to. I mean, the screen's pretty and it's got LEDs all over it. Show me the wiring loom. I want to see how these things connect, and we'll try and get into that tomorrow and see. Do you get a wiring harness with it? Are there some plug and play harnesses that you can plug into a different bike if you're turning a sports bike into a street fighter or something? I'm kind of interested in that sort of stuff, really.
Hilltech Electronics they're the ones that are doing
Heel
the
Tech, yes.
laser frame alignment.
Yeah.
Guys.
Heel Tech, loads of gadgety stuff. It's going to be an interesting conversation that because they've got a lot of products, haven't they?
They have.
Yeah, and the guy was very amenable, so I think we'll have a good conversation there. That'd be a good one.
Texer.
Texer, of course. Most of you that have watched my stuff in the past, know about Texer. So are they Spanish? No, Italian, I think.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, I think they're Italian. So they don't just make diagnostic equipment for bikes, but they do it for cars, snowmobiles, trucks, tractors, basically anything with any wheels. So we're going to talk to them. They're going to have somebody, and we're going to talk us through the software and just show you guys what it can do. And it's kind of, you're going to see stuff from a dealer's can't speak anymore perspective. You're going to see stuff from a dealer's perspective. Are we still live, Benji?
Yeah, we're still live. Yeah, Bradley Crew mentions that we said in the intro that we're going to talk about tyres. He'd be quite interested to hear more about more about tyres.
Cambrian tyres. Mentioned that in that first video. So Cambrian tyres are my supplier for tyres. Somebody will correct me, but I'm pretty sure they're probably the biggest trade supplier in this country. If they're not the biggest, they're close to it. And it was their marketing manager guy, whoever we spoke to today.
Yeah, he was in charge.
He was quite clean.
He was nice.
Clean. Yeah, he was very clean, and he was keen.
he was clean and tidy.
He was clean and tidy. He was keen to.
So
we're gonna have a good conversation there. Cambrian tyres. Who else we got?
We have got Midland. For the Bluetoothy, I quite like that.
Yeah,
one,
you honed in on that, didn't you?
Yeah,
So
I did.
Midland.
Well, the thing I liked about
Midland
that, it was helmet to helmet comms.
Helmet to helmet comms.
But you can also have, like, if a group of you are going on a ride out, you can have like a whole group of you on one channel, so you can all just chat to each other
without pushing.
Without
exactly.
pushing I think it's
buttons
just
and
two
stuff. I
ways,
think it was
isn't
just
it?
it was like
we'll find out more about it
like
tomorrow.
an open conversation. Yeah. And they're on the same. So the stand that they were on,
that's the Bike It,
is the Bike It stand, and Bike It are the distributor for, not wanting to go back to it, but that's the Chain people, Chain Monkey. They're the distributor for Chain Monkey.
And Fowler's.
So Fowler's EPC, which is Electronic Parts Catalogue. Did we show that in the video? I'm not sure.
No, we cut
it out, did you?
I cut it out because it was
the bit you saw earlier today. We filmed the shit out of it. We were like walking around for an hour just talking to people, and then I fucked up some of the camera settings, and a lot of it was out of focus and not usable. So we had to do this quick edit to try and get.
It's what happens when the non-cameraman tries to get his hands on the
camera. So we cut it quite short, didn't we? That video.
Yeah.
So Fowler's, who are in Bristol, who are my supplier for genuine stuff. Fowlers.co.uk/spares, I think it is. They've got electronics parts catalogues for pretty much every bike in existence. No, that's not true actually, because they don't have franchises for some bikes. But if you need genuine parts, Fowlers are a good option. And we're going to look at their electronics parts catalogue tomorrow and see what their website looks like when you're using it because they supply to the trade, but they as Joe Public user, you get the same information. You can see the same parts catalogues, and it makes their mail orders really good. It's like they're paying me, but they're not. I'm a fan. I think they're quite good. So if you want to order some parts, you can go on their EPC. You can either order online, but then you can ring them and just give them the part numbers, and it's just a good way of ordering genuine stuff.
Hopefully, we'll see a bit more of that.
We'll see that tomorrow.
So this is Pip.
Has
asked, what bikes do you guys ride?
It's a little bit embarrassing, but I don't have a bike at the moment.
But then you ride everybody.
I ride all the time. I ride all the time. As you can imagine, I'm fixing these things every day, so I'm road testing all the time. So I really get my bike fixed, and then when it comes to a day off, I've got a house I'm trying to renovate, and I've got 2 young kids, and there's no free time for riding for pleasure. The last bike I owned that I rode for pleasure was an XR 650R, some of you might know what that is. It's a big single-cylinder 4-stroke Honda, and it was a peach of a bike, and I've always loved them. And I used to do a little bit of green laning. So I used to just go and get muddy and have a pub lunch and stuff, and I used to do that on a Sunday morning with some mates, just for fun. But when you ride bikes for work 6 days a week, it's just on your day off. And I've got a... Ben is gonna get cross with me when I say this. I've got a kit car with a Hayabusa engine in it. He's shaking his head looking at me. I've had this kit car for 3 years. And Ben went with me to pick it up, and
it's basically a bucket now, isn't it? It's a bucket that's filling up with water outside.
It's going to be amazing. It needs
everything.
Everything. It needs a nut and bolt rebuild, doesn't it? It needs to be stripped to the chassis, repowder coat the chassis, and rebuilt. But it's all there. It's going to be wonderful when it's done. So I've got that, which is kind of... I sold my XR650R to pay for that. And we just haven't got around to doing it yet because I'm flat out with work. I've got a house I'm trying to renovate. I've got 2 young kids. I've got a wife. I know I don't do much YouTube stuff, but we're going to try and have a real push this year to do more YouTube stuff. Anyway, crack on. What's the next one?
I was going to say, and if he's interested, as for me, I don't ride bikes anymore.
Yeah, Ben doesn't ride bikes.
I did bikes.
Ben was a biker for many years. You had a bike license for a car license, right?
I did.
For many years.
Yeah.
Ben had a massive accident on a motorbike. How many operations?
Oh, I don't know. I lost count.
Lost count of the number of operations on his leg. Basically, they were going to amputate his leg, and there happened to be some surgeon who was in the hospital and was like, well, your leg's fucked anyway, you're going to cut it off. Can we experiment with you a bit? And he's actually still got his leg.
Yeah, luckily.
They
did a good job.
You won't mind me saying it doesn't look like a leg anymore, really, does it?
Well, it looks like an amalgamation of bits of flesh and tissue that's just been stitched together.
So Ben is not allowed motorbikes anymore.
Yeah, it was either another motorbike or a different wife. And I must admit, I did pause for a little while. I didn't tell her that.
No, she might be watching, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Lost the plot has asked, are there any good suppliers for BMW, Ducati or MVs, etc.?
Good suppliers for BMW, MV or...
Ducati.
Parts?
I guess.
So
he's asked specifically about trade suppliers.
Trade suppliers.
Yeah.
So Motorworks are awesome for BMW stuff. Motorworks are generally... No, that's not true. They do a lot of second-hand stuff. They break BMWs, but they do a lot of new stuff. And then Clark's BMW I use for my genuine stuff. I don't do a lot. And the other thing is, I've got a trade supplier who are trade only. This is the thing. Oh, he was asking for trade only.
Yeah.
So for general servicey stuff, like filters and plugs and pads and bits and pieces. I use Larson for a lot of my BMW stuff because they're BMW parts like MAL filters and stuff in a different packet. So a lot of my stuff for servicing BMWs comes from and then what was the other one? Motor Guzzi or Ducati. Where does my Ducati come from? I don't do a huge amount of Ducati stuff. I used to use Baines Racing for my Ducati stuff, and then they come from. Oh, it escapes me now. I'll fill you in later when it comes to my mind. I don't do a lot of Ducati stuff.
Fair enough. Bradley Cruz says no time for drones either.
He's right.
He is right.
My FPVs. So Ben got me into that. It's Ben's fault.
You've still got to fix my helicopter. I got a helicopter still sat waiting for. So see, I don't know if this is of any interest to anyone, but I'm definitely not like Jim in as much as I am not a hands-on person. So if it came to like, if I still had a motorbike and it needed an indicator bulb, I would take it to Jim.
You took it back to the chain tightening. Yeah. Ben would not tighten his own chain. He would get a man in.
I just get someone in to do it. Yeah, exactly. I just want to do the riding. It's the same with the modelling. I just want to do the flying.
Gets a man in to wipe his ass when he has a shit. I'm not exaggerating.
I nearly said I wish that was true, but that would be wrong, wouldn't it? Bike Talk Racing.
Bike Talk Racing. Carbon wheels.
Oh, they were nice. They were lovely. Actually.
It was like
carbon fibre wheels.
It's like motorcycle porn. Bike Talk Racing are a company They supply high-end stuff for you. Those of you that don't know, go check out their website. A little bit like Performance Parts. If any of you have used Performance Parts, I didn't see Performance Parts at the show. Did you?
Pass.
Maybe they're there. If they're there, we'll talk to them tomorrow. But I don't remember seeing them. So Bike Talk Racing. They're in Frome in Somerset. And I used to live in Frome in Somerset with my brother. And they got some nice stuff on their stand. Some beautiful carbon work. How nice were these carbon
Yeah,
wheels?
they were lovely, really
And
nice.
they've got one cut in half, so you can see the cross section. And they've got this little bit of wire through the rim. Are we still going?
Yeah, we're still going. Yeah.
Well, some miracle.
I'm peering to the comments.
Okay.
Electrics. Or
Electric's
electrocs,
World. So Electric's World, another one. Those of you that have watched my Anatomy of a Charging System video, I give them too much beer. I give them a...
No such thing as too much beer, Jim.
So Electric's World, I give them a shout out on my Anatomy of a Charging System video. They're an awesome... They're an awesome company. We're going to speak to them tomorrow and you'll get to see the video, but they do a lot of their manufacture in the UK. So they make motorcycle generators and they make and design their own regulator rectifier in this country, which is they use superior components to the Chinese shit you can buy on eBay. But definitely they're an awesome company. And they're great to deal with. Most stuff's always in stock. They're cool. We'll have a good conversation with them. Who else we got? Got some of the comments there.
Ernest Irvin is saying, how does someone book you to work on their bike? How far do you travel? BMW K1600 GTO and a Honda Blackbird.
Okay, so I'm based in Dursley in Gloucestershire. I don't want to sell myself here, so this isn't what this is about, but I'll give you a real basic quick. So £59.50 an hour including VAT is my labour rate. I'll travel as far as you want me to travel. It's free up to it's not free. What, free? That's a dirty word. Dirty.
You've said it now and it's live.
It's not free. So it's £29.50. Fixed call out rate up to 25 miles from me, and then anything after that is £1 a mile. So I'll drive to Scotland if you want me to, but you'll have to pay the call out. And if you want to get in touch with me, superbikesurgery.co.uk, go to the contact page. There's a little form you can fill out, send me a message, or I might be old-fashioned, but just bloody phone me and I'll talk to you, you know?
Don't phone him yet because we're doing this on his phone. So don't call now.
Yeah, I'm a little bit old school in that, you know, you need to talk to people, don't you? Like texting and email. Obviously you've got to do that in this day and age, but you can lose a lot in the translation, can't you? You know, I just like to have relationships with people and talk to them.
You never pick the phone up to me when I call her.
Yes, because you're...
So I have to call you from a different number. Cat Harley is asking Yamalube, which I've never heard
Harley.
of.
Yamalube is...
He's saying it's very expensive, but is it worth it? He's got an FJR 1300.
I think, now I'm not... You can't quote me on this. I think Yamalube is a Silcoline oil.
Okay.
Rebranded. Somebody might do a bit of Googling on us, and it is expensive. I haven't got an opinion. I've never used it. I'm a Motul guy. I've always used Motul. I used Motul back in the day when I was riding motocross. When I was road racing, I always used Motul oils. I'm a bit of a Motul fanboy, just because it's Motul. You know, you know what you're getting, and it's not massively dear. They're semi-synthetic. Their 5100 is 45 quid for 4 litres, which is it's realistically priced. And
That's good.
There's a talking about oil. That is a big rabbit hole. We'd be here for bloody hours if we got onto that subject.
Well, let's not do that.
So Yamalube, can't go wrong. If you've got the money, then do it definitely.
H Jones is asking, is there any chance of a toolbox tour or a van tour anytime soon?
We talked about a van tour, haven't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, because I like a nice tool.
Yes.
As we know.
Yes.
Yeah, we've talked about doing a van tour and a toolbox tour. Absolutely, I'm quite precious of my toolbox, and I'm not sure I want people gazing
peering
into
inside
my box.
of it. Yeah, don't look at it. It'll be a really nice video. Everything will be really pixelated.
I'm those of you that watch me for a while, you probably guess I'm kind of obsessive over stuff. So, like my every span
One
I
might
get.
say anal.
Hopefully they didn't hear that. Yeah, so I like tools are not allowed back in my toolbox until they're polished. And toolbox tour, van tour. We should do that.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
we'll get on it. This is Pip is asking, do you like to work on new bikes or older machines? He's asking which is your preference.
Right. Okay. That's kind of a loaded question. So, from a commercial point of view, from a money-making point of view, it's much easier to work on like brand new or nearly new stuff. So day to day, most of the work I do is on brand new bikes. And I wouldn't say it's easy money because there's no such thing as easy money, but you don't get seized bolts and whatever. But I guess my heart is probably in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. So GPZ 900s, old oil-cooled GSXRs, Fireblades, RC30s, that sort of era. It's when I was most excited about bikes. When I started my apprenticeship with Honda when I was 16. So I was an apprentice with a Honda dealer, and Benji's laughing. Wants to say something in the comments?
No, I'm just reading some of the comments. They're quite amusing.
So, yeah, I guess my heart is kind of in the early 90s. But yeah, from a sort of commercial point of view, it's easier to work on the new stuff because it's easier to make money that way. And so if you've got a GPZ 900 that's worth $2,500 and you call me out to do some work, because I'm absolutely not cheap. That's not what I'm about. I consider myself sort of high end. I've got a lot of experience. I've got every tool known to man. So yeah, you call me out to work on your £2,500 bike, and I give you a bill for £700. You might wince a little bit, but if you've spent 20 grand on something, you know what I mean?
It's all relative.
It's relative, isn't it? Absolutely.
So one of these, we got another question in. It says, he says, "What's your favourite bike that you've worked on?" Now, before you answer this is from Clive Robury.
No. Oh, Clive!
So you need to be careful.
My favourite bike, you know what? I think it might have to be Clive's Hayabusa.
Which actually features in one of our
episodes.
episodes.
There's what was that episode called? I can't remember.
Neither can I.
Neither can I. Clive will tell you. Put it in the comments.
Yeah, Clive will tell you.
Actually, that's a real question, though, isn't it? It's slightly tongue-in-cheek question, but
so if it's not Clive's, what is it?
I've got a video of I forget what it's called. Honda RC30. Oh, what a fucking beautiful motorbike!
Really?
And that lands right in the sort of late 80s, early 90s. Joey Dunlop was riding one around the
So
city.
it's a nostalgic.
Yeah, it's
thing,
a nostalgic thing,
right.
I think, and you get a really nice. And I'm a Honda man, really. If you pressed me, I'd say RC30. I think.
Okay.
Or I was a big fan of NSR 250s back in the day. When I started my racing career, which we won't go into, I started racing on an MC16 NSR 250, which was the first model NSR 250, a 90-degree V-twin two-stroke. Oh, what a fucking amazing motorbike that was. And then there was the MC18 and the 21, and don't get me started on two-strokes. I'm a two-stroke man, actually. If you really, really pressed me...
What, like a strimmer?
No, not like a strimmer. The best bike I've ever ridden,
Yeah.
that's not a question anybody's asked. TZ250, a proper GP bike. I used to ride, when I worked for Bill Smith Motors in Chester, he used to sponsor me a bit, and I raced the TZ250, and I won the 1300 racer. Anyway, let's not get into that, but...
No,
yeah.
you've got to finish that now, say that. What you...
There's a track called Tom Van Eye, which I don't think even exists anymore, and I got a ride, my first ever ride on I used to ride Supersport 400 back in the day, which was 250 two-strokes or 400cc four-strokes. I got a ride on a 250 GP bike that Bill Smith let me have a ride on, and I won the 1300 Open race there. It was just
wow,
fucking weapon of a motorbike.
Yeah.
The corner on slicks, 250 GP bike on slicks. There ain't nothing to touch it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Just going back to toolage. This isn't really a question. Well, it is a question. Hepcat Harley says, my wife put an 8mm spanner the wrong way around to all the others in my toolbox. Is this grounds for divorce?
No!
Clearly it is a bad thing.
Torture first, then divorce.
Fair enough.
You could pull a toenails out or something, maybe.
What have we got here? Clive says the Hayabusa episode was called Superbike Surgery Road Trip. He's quite right.
He's
That's
quite
exactly
right.
what
Superbike
it was.
Surgery Road Trip. And if you go to, I sound like a bloody salesman, my website, I think it's on the homepage still. It's one of the first videos on there.
It's like pinned or something, is it?
Yeah, that was a Benji production, that video.
Yeah, so CRT33 says maybe a bit tech for now, but why do bikes need valve clearances adjusted when it hasn't been needed in cars for so long?
Most cars, without going down a massive rabbit hole, most cars have hydraulic lifters. So, without going into it too much now, we could do a whole episode about this, but the clearance is automatically adjusted with oil pressure with a car engine. With a bike, everything is mechanically fixed in place. So you've got the valve, yeah. Ben's looking at me slightly blankly.
I'm with you.
So you've got the valve, you've got the shim on the end of the valve stem, then you've got the shim bucket and then the camshaft. So what happens is over time, the valve seat wears, so the valve ends up further, and we're talking a few thousandths of an inch now. Of course I'm old school, so I do it in thou. So the valve seat wears, and the valve ends up further into the cylinder head, so the clearance tightens up, and also, because valve springs on modern engines are really strong, because bike engines rev their nuts off, right? So you have to have a really strong valve spring, because imagine as the camshaft comes around, the load pushes the valve open.
Okay.
But as the camshaft moves away from the valve, from the shim bucket, which is opening the valve, you can get a thing called valve float. So the cam's moved away and the spring is still trying to close the valve. And what can happen is, it doesn't happen so much these days, but older engines, if you over rev them, they blow up because the piston would hit the exhaust valves on the exhaust stroke because the valve couldn't close quick enough. Anyway, so all that energy pulling the valve shut, it stretches the valve stem ever so slightly. So without wanting to go down a massive rabbit hole, 85% of the time when you do valve clearances on modern engines that are that configuration, overhead cam engine, the clearances are too tight, not too slack. And I often hear people say, well, it doesn't need its valve clearances doing, it sounds fine to me. So they're thinking, well, if they need doing, it means they're going to be rattly. Actually, if it gets really quiet,
you've got to worry.
Yeah, that's when it's really quiet, that's when you need it. If it's rattling, then, well, that's another thing, but yeah. There's a whole bloody hour conversation there.
Cool. CRT just says, got it, thanks.
CRT, no problem, mate.
Bradley Cruz says, what do you think about V4s, early 80s?
Oh, I love them. And we were just talking about RC30s, weren't we? So, the early stuff, so the VF750s, I don't know, it's probably even before your time. It was a little bit before my time. But
before my time. You're older than I am.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You were too young to know what these things were.
Oh, okay.
You weren't into...
I thought you were making me old.
Okay, well...
I'm not old.
So, the short answer is I absolutely love Honda V4s. And I assume you're talking about Honda V4s. So the VF750s were a bit of a bloody lemon. They were made of cheese and they blew up all the time. And because the VF750, history lesson, the VF750 was such a disaster for Honda, nearly fucking sank them. Well, not really sank them, but it was it wasn't good PR. They were really unreliable. They massively over-engineered the VFR 750, the first model VFR 750, 16-inch front wheel. Fucking peach of a motorbike. And the VFR range really right the way up till now, till the VFR 1200 is, I love them. They're a bit of a pig to work on, to be fair. Especially the VTEC ones. If you if you've got a VTEC VFR 800 and you want the valve clearance service doing, that's, fuck me, there's a video there. They're a bastard to do. It's like a 2-day job.
Really?
Well, because of the VTEC.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into it in this scenario now, talking on here, but you have to take the valve lifter out that does the VTEC, take the cams out, put a blank in, put the cams back in, measure the clearances,
Oh my god.
take the cams out, adjust it, put them back in, measure. It's just like cams in and out constantly. It's a pain in the arse. But yeah, I love Honda V4s. Have we done our... Get your eyes off the comments. Have we been through our list of people we're going to do?
NOCO.
NOCO. Some of you might have seen my little boost pack, which I got it and I was excited about getting it, and I did watch some YouTube videos, and people were a bit watched some reviews on YouTube, and they were a bit like, they took the piss out of it. Benji's looking behind me. What are you looking at?
Nothing.
You're putting me off. You're looking over there. Like, I need to look
I'm
round.
allowed to look with my eyes at things.
Look at me. NOCO. So, they do a range of chargers and boost packs, and I love them. My little boost pack, I think it's a GB40. I think it's the smallest one they do. I love it. It's great for, you'll only get like a couple of flat batteries worth of starting bikes, and you've got a bike that won't quite turn over and it's cranking and it's won't quite go. Brilliant thing. So we're going to look at NOCO. They do little mini boost packs, and they're small enough you could put them under the seat of your bike. And we'll have a look anyway, and they do a few other little products as well.
That
so
big
NOCO,
one that they had on their stand.
yeah, like the Pro version, whatever it was.
Can you start a car with those?
Oh, fuck yeah. They say like in their
got a 24 volt
yeah, in
version,
their
so-
marketing wank, they say like a 10-litre V8 or something.
Oh, really?
And actually, if you watch some of the reviews, there's the guy AVE channel that I watch on YouTube that you know about. He's done some reviews, and he's ripped the piss out of them a bit, just out of their marketing wank, because their numbers don't. They're cranking amps versus watts versus
Right.
Anyway.
Real world doesn't.
Yeah, the
equal-
maths doesn't
Right.
measure. You know.
Yeah. This is Pip is asking, who's your favourite of the Jap Big Four manufacturers? Well, you just said it's Honda.
It's Honda. It has to be Honda, really. See, I love Suzuki too, but I did my apprenticeship with Honda, and they're kind of, even now, back in the day, they were definitely the easiest to work on, and when we talk about early 90s stuff, like the VFRs, they were like head and shoulders above the other manufacturers in terms of ease of working on and the quality of the metal they used to make them. And everybody's kind of caught up now, but yeah, if pressed, I'd say Honda. How long have we been going now, Benji?
We've been going 42 minutes. I mean, I'm all right to keep going.
Well, until the end of this beer.
Well, you
and
say
then-
that, but check this out. I have a problem. The questions are still coming in, so I'm
Okay,
happy to
well,
go.
crack-
Let's
crack on
maybe
then.
say go for an hour or something.
Yeah, let's do an hour then. I really need a wee.
Do you? Can you hold it for 20 minutes?
I'll be all right.
I mean, if you can't, that'll make dynamite viewing.
I think there's something wrong with my bladder. I've been to the toilet about 10
You've done it
times
about 10
today.
times. You're on
I've been
water
to the
tablets,
toilet. It's not toilet talk, but Ben's been to the loo like twice today. I've been a lot.
It's because I'm not a child.
Carry on.
Maybe we need to get you some tenor, lady. So Brandon Krieger says he's got a 1982 Honda Sabre V45.
A 90. Fucking hell, that is old school.
Old.
Old school.
Yeah. Lost the Plot says VFR 800 VTEC valves. Yeah, pretty intense.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah.
T Will says, can you recommend an electronic car balancer?
Oh well.
yes,
There's the thing.
yeah.
We're gonna be looking at. Heeltech have got something.
They have.
Did you see that today?
Yeah, well, we're
And
looking.
it's,
Yeah.
it's a tiny little box, and there's an app.
Yeah.
Really interesting to look at that. One of the reasons why I was excited about Heeltech, so they've got that, and the guy the brain fart, the stand Carl was on. Radio silence.
Pro bike.
Yeah, it's not Pro Bike, is it? Yeah. Pro Bike are the... Anyway.
Opto or whatever, anyway.
You're thinking Optimate, which is the charger,
Yeah.
but that's not...
I know.
They're not the manufacturer.
Techmate.
Techmate. I've got the
Is it
business card in my
Techmate?
pocket. I did have. Yeah, it's tech, mate.
And it's tech, mate.
Yeah, so yeah, we're going to be looking at some electronic carb balancers, I think. It's not something I'm for doing carb balancing, you cannot beat mercury gauges. The old carb tune, which won't mean anything to you, Benji. But
Hang
the
on,
old,
you've got a video about it somewhere, haven't you?
no,
Have you not?
no, we need to do a. I've watched some horrific
Oh, okay.
carb balancing videos on YouTube, and I've
There's a
been
video
like,
in there
banging my
somewhere.
fucking head on the table, like, what are you talking about? And they've got like 500,000 views.
Really?
Oh,
Name them.
no.
Name them right now.
We need to do a carb balance video. So carb tuning, or throttle body balancing, carbs or throttle bodies with injectors, whatever. You cannot beat mercury gauges, but mercury's bloody illegal these days. You
Is
can't.
it really?
Yeah.
You can still. I mean, if you owned one pre-illegal, you could still.
Yeah, but you've got to have the
it.
mercury to bloody. They're a pain in the ass. You knock them over and the fucking. I remember when I was an
right.
apprentice knocking over the mercury gauges. Like,
Mercury going everywhere.
yeah, mercury all over the workshop floor, and I'm like trying to scoop the mercury
Oh my
up.
God.
It's like, fucking how am I not dead? So you can't get mercury anymore unless you know some really dodgy chemist. That is the best way of doing it, mercury gauges, because the weight of the mercury sort of damps the fluctuation of the vacuum. CarbTune do which is what I've got, they do a version of that post mercury type with little stainless steel rods in. CarbTune 3 I think it is. They're really good, but they're a bit finicky. You've got to look after them and keep them clean and oil the little thingy bobs. But you're right, electronic, I think, given the way technology's gone, because you're opening up. If you look at an vacuum electronically, it's not just a balancing thing you can do. You can draw a waveform, right? So you can measure with a transducer. You can measure the vacuum in the inlet manifold, and you can actually see leaky inlet valves. You can, when you start looking at the waveforms, you can start diagnosing all sorts of problems. So there's a video if ever there was one. But we're going to look at some people that have got. So yeah, stay tuned for that.
Hepcat Harley has asked, have Japanese motorcycles always been metric?
Yes, I think is the answer.
Well,
Unless
seems
somebody
easy.
tells me otherwise.
Okay.
When I think back to, so when I did my apprenticeship with Honda, the Honda dealer I did my apprenticeship for, don't want to get into the history of it, but they were the second ever Honda dealer in the UK. And we had workshop manuals going back, right back to the beginning. They were in the original, they were a 5-star Honda workshop, and the photographs of their workshop, they had all the Honda shadow boards on all the walls. This is like in the 60s, you know, like early doors, and they had workshop manuals going right the way back. And because I'm such a geek, I used to read these workshop manuals just for fun, and they were always metric. Yeah, so yeah, I guess so.
Is that just Honda then, is it? Or is that Japanese bikes
I
in
guess
general?
that's Japan. I don't know. Somebody tell me.
I think Japan are fairly metric, aren't they?
Well, they definitely are now. Not like not
I mean,
like
everything's
America.
like kilometres
Yeah,
an hour,
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah.
Maybe it's a Japanese thing rather than just simply a Honda thing. I don't know. The Sudsy has asked, have you worked on many Honda DCT bikes?
No, not.
What does that mean?
That's a clutchless gear changing, like the.
An automatic?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, if
Okay.
you like. Yeah, if you like.
So the answer is no.
No, a few, but
Right.
yeah, and there's like an extra filter to change, and there's a few little idiosyncrasies with servicing them, but they're no different really. There's no complication. I haven't had a gearbox apart, and clutches and stuff apart. I've studied workshop manuals a lot, so I understand what's going on just because I'm interested in it. But no, I haven't had enough hands-on with stuff like that. If you've got technical questions, can't help me.
Okay. Kemp599 says modern sports bikes, modern sport bike engines, good for 100k without rebuilding.
Wow. Okay, so I've seen.
I assume he means miles.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. I've seen bikes fucked at 20,000 miles or less, and I got a customer who had a CBR 1100 Blackbird, 75,000 miles on it, and it was a peach. He'd had it serviced every year or every 4,000 miles, and it was as honestly, it was you when he went to part exit. They were like, "How has this bike done this many miles?" It was like bloody. It's all about the maintenance, and almost more important than the maintenance is keeping the bloody things clean, especially. Excuse me, especially in the UK with the bloody salt on the roads and stuff. Keep them clean, keep them serviced, change the oil every 4,000 mile.
Get a good
warm
mechanic.
warm them up before you thrash the tits out of them.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
Yeah. I think you
It's
said
after
worse than
hours.
that.
Yeah, I've definitely said worse than that today.
I think you're all right. T. Will just simply says, "Cheers, Jim and Ben." You're welcome, T. Will.
You're welcome, T. Will.
This is Pip. Has got another question. He says, "What about electric motorbikes?" Which is quite interesting actually, because
one of the things. Have we mentioned
No,
them
we
yet?
haven't.
We
No.
haven't. We mentioned them in our video previously.
Yeah. Well, actually, his question is, do you think they'll ever become popular?
Absolutely yes. There is no getting away from it. So Zero Motorcycles are at the show, and they've got a bike on their stand, and I'm gonna get right into the weeds with a guy from Zero Motorcycles. I'm interested without going off on one, I'm interested like from a commercial point of view. Electric bikes, cars, they're coming. There's no getting away from it. The internal combustion engine is going to be a thing of the past. When I'm an old fart, and I'm not that far away, in 20 years' time, there are going to be no internal combustion engines. Are going to be like
Antiquities,
exactly, and they're going to be things that people like take the piss out of. They're noisy and complicated, and it's coming, and we're all of us in this conversation now. We're all going to be old farts. Well, when I was a lad, it was and all our kids are going to be riding around on electric. Well, they won't even be doing it. The computer will be driving them around, won't it?
It's already here, isn't it?
It's here already. Absolutely. Yeah. So electric bikes are coming, and from a commercial point of view, I need to. I'm more techie than your average bike mechanic. I'd love to be an authorised repairer for Zero or what. I want to be. I have to embrace it and understand the technology and make it work for me. Because these things are going to need. A lot of this stuff is high voltage too, so you can't just go. It's not like a 12-volt battery. We can just wade in and start touching stuff and end up electrocuting yourself. So it's coming. We can't avoid it. But
we are talking to somebody. Well, like you said,
I'm
we're
a petrol head.
We're talking to Zero about it tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to see Zero and chat
there
to
is
them
something
about it.
coming soon on that one.
Yeah.
Bradley Crew is looking for a fight. He's
not talking chains again.
No. He says, "What do you think of the current crop of YouTube bike how-to channels?"
The current crop. Oh wow. Fucking hell. Okay, so
go on, name them. Jim. Call them out. Go on, do it.
I think Matt from the workshop is an absolute fucking legend. Yeah, we've had a little bit of a. We had a bit of a spat about copper grease.
As you do.
But don't get me started about copper grease on brake calipers. So Matt from the workshop is a legend. I really like his stuff. I think fair dues to him. He's got 45,000 subscribers, and the guy's got a fucking marker pen and a whiteboard. And I commented on one of his videos the other day. I watched him trying to change a fucking front tyre. And I was telling you about it, I fucking pissed myself. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen, this big fat guy fucking wrestling with his tyre. But, I took the piss out of him in the comments, and he's a good sport, I think. I notice, if you read through a lot of his comments, people rip the piss out of him, and he loves the comments, so it's at the top. He's a good sport, and I'd like to actually have some interaction with him. I think he's the sort of guy I've never spoken.
He should be around here having a beer with us, shouldn't he?
It's the sort of guy you could have in the pub and you'd have a good laugh. You could rip the piss out of each other and there'd be no hard feelings. Actually, I don't. The question was, what do I think about the current crop? I don't really follow that many other channels. Obviously, everybody knows about Del Boy. I think I should probably not say anything.
No, go on, do it.
No. I watched a video of Del Boy's about him talking about motorbike gearboxes having synchro meshes, and Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Oh really?
Yeah, he's got a lot of subscribers. He must almost have his YouTube thing on the wall. Like, he was getting towards 100k. So fair play to him. You know, he cannot knock the guy. He's obviously entertaining for a lot of people. Not really my cup of tea. The sort of stuff he does, like Street Fightery stuff and modifying stuff, not really my cup of tea, really. But fair play to him.
Well, he's out there doing it, isn't he?
He's doing it, innit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many people talk about it and don't do it,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you can't knock the guy.
Yeah, fair enough. We're gonna have to. They keep coming in, Jim.
I really, really need a piss.
No. Well, I mean,
Unless people want to watch an empty chair for 5
I
minutes.
don't know. Can we like put? Well, let's do that.
I'll tell you, let's have an intermission.
Yeah,
right?
can we do that?
We can do that. We can just go again, can't we?
I don't know.
If we stop the
I
live
leave it
stream
going.
now.
I don't need to go anywhere. If I stop the live stream, will it actually keep going on here?
No, it won't. I think if we
Oh,
stop it.
just leave it going then. It's fine.
Right.
Go and have a wee,
Okay.
and
Get
go
some
to the
beer.
bar on the way
Right,
back.
okay. If you want to stay and chat, stay. We're going to keep it going. The phone battery's not flat, is it?
No. Phone
Get some
battery's
beers
all right.
in, and I'm going to go and have a wee, and then we'll come back and talk more.
It really is like everyone's at the pub with us now, isn't it? And it's your round.
You can talk to them when I'm not here.
Well, I don't know what to say. Sudsy, you go and have a bath, sir. He's off for a bath. You guys have got any more questions? Keep coming in, and then we'll try and rattle through them if we can. I thought there might be some more questions on Twitter. Really got to get this Twitter following up. Clive. I don't know, what do I say to that? Jim is very good. I mean, you know, I have to push him to sing his own praises sometimes, because the man has got, well, as he said, he's got 30 years of experience in doing this. You know, he used to be a racer. He lives and breathes it. Yes, he is extremely good at what he does. He could charge triple what he charges and still be worth every single penny. Especially if you've got one of those problems where you're taking it to a main dealer or your local garage or whatever, and you think, oh well, you kind of, I'm not confident that you sort of found the problem or you fixed the problem or something like that. Jim is a sort of person, and he was telling me a story actually today on the way up here about a guy that I can't remember exactly what the problem was. But he said basically he put the bike back together, and he said, and it was running like 99% better than when he first got it, and the customer was kind of happy with where it was. But Jim was like, oh, it's just something is niggling for me. He said, don't pay me. He said, ride it for a few days, and then we'll see how we get on. You know, and hopefully we've actually solved the problem. But anyway, Jim's coming back. But you know, that to me was like the mark of somebody who's more interested in getting the job right.
Talking about me,
Yeah,
Reggie.
I got to stop now.
I hope it's good. I'm going to watch this back, right? And if you've been mean to
you
me,
don't,
I'll
you
know.
don't, you don't need to watch it back. Clive was just asking me. Now he's gone. Is he really any good?
Cheeky bastard. That's the last time I do you a favour.
Bradley Creeve
Look
says,
at the
"Let's
head
talk
on
about Jim." He's got a good head on that, Jim.
It's the only good Ed I'm having tonight.
Right, where did we get to? Let's see.
Have we done I'm conscious that it's kind of going on, and if people are interested,
Well, look, I
then
mean,
that's
people are
fine,
still sending questions. It's your call. We're coming up to the hour mark now.
but- Okay, let's just make sure we've done what we're going to do tomorrow. So,
Well, I think 0 was the last one.
Was it?
That was on the list?
is that 10? Is it?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Well, you didn't mention Ultimate add-ons. We haven't mentioned
Did we
Ultimate
not do
add-ons.
them at the beginning?
Did we?
No, I think you're right. Actually, no, we didn't.
So there's a company called Ultimate Add-ons.
And just to be fair to them, they're at the top of the list as well.
They were when Ben rang them a few days ago, before we went to the show, they were very accommodating, weren't they?
They're very
And
accommodating.
they've given
yeah.
us some freebies.
Yeah.
So we'll be basically, they make phone cases that fit on bikes for holding your phone for
Yeah.
sat nav.
Or GPS units or all
Yeah.
sorts of
All sorts
stuff.
we'll do a video on them, and we'll have something to give away from them. So this giving away stuff, I think. See, the thing, I'm not anti-Twitter, but a lot of people aren't on Twitter, so I'm keen to. I'll definitely, if there's any of my patrons watching, I'm definitely going to give stuff away to my patrons.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've only got like 9 patrons or whatever it is, but they're definitely getting some stuff because
that's
they've put their money where their mouth is, on a monthly basis.
How do you become a patron then, Jim?
That sounds like some sort of
I don't know how
dodgy
else.
segue
I
into
don't know
like
how
getting
else to
people
ask
talk
without it sounding salesy.
you. Let's not even talk about it. All right?
It's on the website or the
well,
channel
whatever,
somewhere,
let's
isn't
not
it?
fucking go
Yeah.
there.
Right. Okay. So just go.
That's not what this is about.
Man, we got some weird questions going in now. I think everyone else is having a beer at home as well whilst they're watching. So, Russell Davis says, "Yeah, I need a beer now." Bradley Crew says, "Run." Covel 9000 says, "Where is the trade show?"
So it's at Stoneleigh Park. They were very. I spoke to the organizer about doing some videoing and stuff. He was very keen for me to say that it is strictly trade only. You cannot, as a member of the public, you cannot just rock up. Let me give you a bit of a backstory. So years ago, everybody knows about the NEC show. You know about the NEC show, right, in Birmingham?
Yeah.
So there used to be a trade day. The first day of the show was, in fact, I think even further back, there was a press day, then a trade day, and then it was open to the public. And what tended to happen was the trade day kind of got polluted by Joe Public. So bike dealers would be giving trade day tickets away. Buy a new bike from me, I'll give you a ticket for the trade day kind of thing. And it got to the point where you couldn't fucking move on. The idea of trade day was people from the trade would go and they could talk to suppliers.
Business to
and
business.
Business to business,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then it got ridiculous. You couldn't. It got to the point where there's no fucking point in going on trade day. I used to go every year to the NEC show, and it's just I don't bother going anymore.
Yeah.
It's just a bloody bun fight. So when would it have been? It would have been 2000, 2001 maybe. They started the trade show, which was at Stoneleigh Park, and it grew and grew and grew. And it's strictly, getting back to what I was saying. So the organiser's very keen for everybody to know that it's strictly trade only. You cannot turn up and get in. The way you get a ticket is you have to have references from trade suppliers that you've dealt with over time, so you're genuinely in the trade, and that's how you get your ticket. So it's at Stoneleigh Park. When it started, it was at Stoneleigh Park, and it grew and grew and grew, and it got a bit big for Stoneleigh Park, and it went to the NEC, and it got a bit shit, to be honest. I think when it went to the NEC, it just sort of lost its kind of nice personal touch to it. Although it's big and quite corporate, there's kind of a nice feel to it, I think. And then they brought it back. I think it took a bit of a nosedive, and they brought it back to Stoneleigh Park a few years ago. And it's
Because it felt very tradey in there today.
yeah.
It did not feel retail.
No, it's
If you
not
know what I mean.
retail
It's-
at
you know
all.
what I mean.
Everybody's chatting business.
Yeah.
You can't buy anything. There's nothing for sale. It's
Yeah.
not that sort of show, It's just it's
Cool. Epcat Harley wants to know what hotel are we in? Where is this hotel?
what's this called?
It's
Didn't
called
we
the
tag
Oak.
the look? I thought when I did the live stream.
Yeah. Oh, you
I-
tagged
is
the
it called,
location. Oh, it might be somewhere in the description for the
It's the
show.
Oak or something.
It's called the Oak, and
The
it's
Oak,
very
and
nice
it's
actually.
Very nice, yeah. It's
Yeah.
really good. If you want
Nice
to come and have a
rooms
beer
and-
with us,
Yeah.
feel free.
Well, actually, if you're watching the live stream and you're on part of the trade show and you're in the Oak right now,
Yeah, we're in this.
Come and have a beer with us.
We're in this little back room.
let's see who turns up. Pip just says, looking a bit strange pointing the camera on your own. I think that's just when you left.
Yeah.
Andy Hagen says, just got a Gixxer 750, not started for at least 5 years. Any tips for when attempting it for the first start?
Right, so the first question is, which model Gixxer 750? Is it a super early one with carburetors, or is it an injected one? So you need to answer that,
Okay.
and then I'll give you the answer.
Andy Hagen,
to
you
your
need to
question.
come back, let us know. Andy Ord says, how come you don't help Jim much, Benj? Are you too busy?
Yes, he's too busy.
Yes, I'm
he's
always too busy, yeah.
But we're having a bit of a, we're having a push, aren't we, this year? We bought some new camera equipment, or I've bought some new camera equipment.
YouTube is going to be more important to you
Yeah,
this
it's
year,
going to
isn't
become more important to me. I think I do need to engage. The problem with it is, and I don't want a bloody bleeding heart, but if you've got a job to do, I can just, as a mechanic, I just get my head down and get the job done. But if you're going to film it, even trying to do the quickest video, it takes at
ages,
least twice as long to do the job.
Yeah.
There's no other way of doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you've got the edit and the messing around, and it's just
I don't
my
wanna-
days are full.
I don't want to do the whole sales thing for you because I know you hate that, but I'm going to say
You've got your salesman voice on, I can
No,
say.
I know, but I'm just so that everybody understands, the YouTube videos are a nice to have at the moment, aren't they? They don't pay bills.
They don't.
Do you know what I mean?
fucking
So
what
at
I
the
wish they
moment,
did.
you earn your money for your mortgage with a spanner in your
Yeah,
hand.
exactly. If I haven't got a spanner in my hand, I'm not earning money. I think I made last month from the YouTube ads and my Patreons. I think I made about 50 quid, 60 quid maybe.
I mean, eventually, we'll.
Yeah, I mean, the
the
ultimate goal would be to be able to only go out and spanner on stuff that you're filming, but I mean, that's
Yeah.
fucking
Oh,
light
yes,
years,
yeah.
that's light years away, isn't
Well,
it?
we'll get there. I should have read ahead in the comments, by the way, because Andy Hagen actually did say it's a K8 model.
Right, K8, so it's a fuel injected one.
It's been
And
stood
it's
for 5 years.
5 years, wow. So,
What does he need to know?
well, there's lots of stuff that could be wrong. 5 years is a long time. I'm assuming it's been sat with fuel in the fuel tank and fuel in the injectors. Obviously, you're going to need to drain the fuel tank. I think what I would do if it was me, I'd drain the fuel tank dry, and assuming the fuel tank looks okay inside and it doesn't stink of stale fuel, I'd put some fresh fuel in and see what happens, see if it runs. It's probably going to want its injector servicing, which is, when I say service and injector, so the injectors, they're easy to do. You take them out, there's a machine, you put them in, you take the little filter basket out the end. I've got, what's the video called? I did it fucking years ago on a...
What would you have called it? Can they
It was
search for something?
it was on a Aprilia
Someone will
200.
find it.
It was on a 200
Okay.
1000. If you look back through the videos, there's a injector servicing video, and that 200 had stood. Sometimes you can get away with it, and they'll start up and they'll be fine. But I would, if it's been 5 years and it's been sat with fuel in, I think you potentially have problems with the injectors being partially blocked. The fuel goes stale in them, so it's worth getting the injector serviced. They're 25 quid each to do. You take the little filter. You've seen it being done, haven't you? You take a little filter basket out at the end and you put them in an ultrasonic tank, and you put a feed to the injector so the solenoid operates. So the injector's opening and closing, and through an RPM range. So you basically rev the injector up and down as if it's in the engine while it's in the ultrasonic tank, and yeah, the ultrasonic fluid percolates up through the injector and completely cleans the injector. And then you put a new filter in the end of it. That definitely needs to be done. There's all sorts of stuff. I've been out to bikes and the fuel pumps are stuck. Because the way the fuel pump works, there's a little rotating piece inside, and you can not. When you turn the ignition on, does the fuel pump go bzzz in the tank?
Okay.
There's like a million things that could be, not a million, there's a few things that could be wrong.
Battery is going to be an obvious one, isn't
Oh
it?
geez, yeah, absolutely. Obviously change the oil and filter.
Yeah.
Give it a service. Put some plugs in it, change the coolant. Absolutely change the brake fluid. The brake fluid will want to be changed. Change the oil and filter, change the coolant.
How would the tyres be after 5 years of being
Yeah, you
sat?
wouldn't want to go angry with them. You'd probably be alright to potter around, but yeah. You can't beat fresh rubber, you know.
Yeah.
Brake pads would be fine.
Cool. Okay.
You sometimes find when stuff stood for a time, you'll ride it and the fork seals will start leaking and stuff like that. But that's something you've just got to do. Where are we at, Benji?
No, we're good. We're all right. We're an hour and 10 minutes in. Where do we get it to? Bradley Crew just says, let's talk about Jim. Well, I think that's when you left.
Yeah.
Let's talk about him whilst he's not here. Zed Pip says, thanks for the live show, guys. Cheers.
You're absolutely welcome. Thank you for watching, because this is the first live thing we've ever done.
We kind of, in fact, we
were
joked,
like sitting here going,
just one
what
guy
if we have
might
like
watch.
one person and it's my brother. So we really appreciate you tuning in. Honestly, it's awesome. Really
Bunko
appreciate it.
Booth says, what do you think about the new generation BMW engines with the shift cam tech? Are they a good idea or design, or are they flawed in it?
So we're talking about the 1250 GSs. I don't know enough about them. I've got a dodgy copy of the workshop manual already, and I've started looking at it, but I don't have an opinion one way or the other. I've got confidence in BMW, and I think it's probably all right. But yeah, I'm not qualified to give you an answer, mate. I'm afraid, not yet.
Well,
Ask me again in 12
I was
months.
going to say you might come across it, might you? Rich Hallett.
Oh, Rich. Rich.
He just says, ask Jim about the bike that nearly beat him.
Are we talking about the KTM
I think
1190? Must be talking about that,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, it didn't beat me, did it?
No, he didn't.
No, it didn't. Watch the video, Rich.
Yeah, watch the video, Rich.
It didn't beat me.
Chem599 just says, that pint looks nice.
Awesome.
Well, if you're close, Chem599,
Come and join us.
come and join
I'll
us
buy
for a
you one.
beer.
It's a Peroni. I started on
Is it?
something really. What was that beer called?
It was quite hoppy, wasn't it? It was a bit
It
punk
was like,
IPA.
it
wasn't
was
it?
like punk IPA. Yeah, it's too hoppy. So this is. But we're a few beers in now. So yeah.
Hopefully we're still legible.
Compass Mentis. We need to probably end soon.
Yeah, I think so. Hepcat Harley says, I have a Heel-Tech Quickshifter and wondered why I shouldn't shift till above 3,000 RPM.
What's the question?
He says, I have a Heel-Tech Quickshifter
Yeah.
and wondered why I shouldn't shift till above 3,000 RPM.
Right. Okay. Go and watch. Sound like a bloody salesman. I've got a video called "The Anatomy of a Motorcycle Gearbox," and it talks about the way the mechanism inside the gearbox works and the way the dogs come together. You can shift below 3,000 RPM. I don't. Is he saying it won't shift?
No,
Or
he's saying, why
shift?
shouldn't I?
Because you don't need to. It will be shit and clunky and just a bad experience. You can shift if you want. You can shift at 1,500 RPM if you want. You're at 1,500 RPM or 3,000 RPM. You're putting less, even if it's a real clunky, crappy gear change. You're putting less load on the gearbox than you would changing at 10,000 RPM. It's just not a nice experience. Quick shifters are designed for quick shifting, right? So back in the day when I was racing, there was no such thing as a quick shifter. So you'd be throttle pinned, you'd be behind the screen, flat out, engine under load, you'd have pressure on the gear lever with your foot trying to make it change. But because of the way that dogs in the gearbox are machined, they're being held together. And to do your quick shift, if you like, you'd be pinned behind the screen and just go literally as fast as you could go on off the throttle. It would go up a gear and then you'd be back on the
So
throttle.
you would keep that pressure
and
to
once
the
you've
gear
gone up a
shifter
gear, you'd let your
constant.
foot off and get ready for the next
Right,
one, keep pressure on it.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
to answer your question, you can shift at 3,000 if you want, but why would you? Because it's about changing quickly. When, it's about, quick shifters are about lap times and about changing quickly.
Well, he says, why shouldn't I shift until above 3,000?
You can if you want, but it wouldn't be a very nice experience.
Right, okay.
It'd be a way smoother, nicer ride. Just
yeah.
use the clutch.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Use your quick shifter when you're on a mission to go quick. And the faster you go, you've ridden bikes, you know what it's like. Clutchless gear changing. The faster you're going, and the more on it you are, the smoother it seems to be.
Yeah.
Just the nature of the gearbox.
Okay. Bradley Cruz
I hope
says,
that answers the question.
Bradley Cruz says, long-time viewer. Jim
Thanks, man.
seems to have respect for his craft. Don't always find that. Good job.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. I am it's my life. I pay my mortgage by doing it. Let me tell you something, right? So, Ben and I were talking about this today on the way here. I work for a guy. When I was 16, I got my apprenticeship at a Honda dealer called Wrexham Scooters and Motorcycle Centre, and the guy that owned the business back then, a guy called Bill Barron, he gave me my break, if you like. You know, he gave me a chance. And his son, actually, a guy called Andy Barron, he works for Bill Smith Motors in Chester now, and I owe Andy Barron a massive thank you too for. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. So Bill Barron always used to say, the old boy that gave me my start at the Honda dealer, was, "You're only as good as your last job." That's what he used to say, that all the time. "You're only as good as your last job, Jim." So it kind of keeps you honest. And you know, we were talking about it today on the way up here, weren't we? And I measure myself up against the last job I did. That's how Otherwise, if you you can get big-headed, can't you? With anything, you can think, "Well, I'm fucking good at this now," and strut around and think you're the man. And actually,
do you not think you're good at it?
Well, the customer that you're doing the job for doesn't give a shit about how experienced you are or how many fucking shiny spanners you've got in your toolbox. They're interested in their bike and you paying attention to the job you're doing.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Why?
As a punter, when I had bikes, I would be basically, and we were talking about this today, weren't we? You know, to an other motorcycle mechanic, you know, any other guy that's in a workshop, just generic mechanic guy, you can imagine that they see 1,000 bikes a year, and your bike is just one of 1,000 bikes a year.
Yeah.
But to the guy that bought that bike in, that's his or her bike. That's the most important thing in the world to them. And if I bought somebody my bike, I would want them to give my bike as much love as I would want to give it.
No, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And if I can find somebody who does have that experience behind them.
How is that disagreeing with me? That's
because
kind of,
you said the punter doesn't care about how much experience I've got or how many shiny tools I've got.
Oh, yeah, okay. Maybe I said that wrong then. Yeah, what I'm trying to say is they're not interested in my past, are they? And how many other jobs I've done and how great I think I am. They're interested in their bike and what I'm doing for them at that moment in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want you to love their bike as much as they love their bike.
And every job I do, I try and, you know. Yeah, bikes are they're not like cars, are they? People that have cars, I mean, some people love petrol heads and they love their car. 90% of the people that own cars, it's a means of getting from A to B. 90% of people that own bikes, it's way more than that.
Yeah.
It's like 10% of bikers, it's just a means to get A to B, isn't it? 90% of them they love their bike and they're passionate. Well, that's why people watch stuff like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally.
Anyway, I
think we can almost wrap this up now, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got to shout this one out. Covel 9000, new Patreon subscriber.
Mate, you're an absolute legend, and I need to pay more attention to my patrons and do some, because in the sort of what do you call it, the tiers of stuff for Patreon, I should do more behind the scenes stuff, you know, like personal stuff. I feel like I should share more of me really for that. And like me and you just dicking around, like when we're setting up for this, like being complete idiots, we should share that stuff.
I think in fairness we've
shown that we're idiots.
This is the Jim and Ben that is going to continue after the camera's off, isn't it? So it's not really that different.
Thank you, mate. Subscriber, that's Patreon, that's amazing. Really
Hepcat Harley just says, and it's the final comment, he says, "Thanks guys, really enjoyed the chat. Cheers."
You're welcome, mate. I hope you're having a cool beer at home too. So we're going to wrap it up. So the plan is just to finish off. So we're going to, and it's kind of, as you can imagine, there's a lot. This is a project we've been building up to for months now. We're going to film all day tomorrow. And we're going to try, but don't bloody crucify us if we don't do it. We're going to try and get a video out every day for the next sort of 10 days or so. But there's a lot of work that needs to happen behind the scenes, and it's mainly on Ben. And Ben is like my unpaid helper. So if it doesn't happen quite how I intend it to, then I'm sorry. But you know, you'll get your 10 videos. They might not be every day, they might be every other, but we'll try and like
As swiftly as we
yeah,
can
as
make it
swiftly
happen.
as we can edit them, we'll get them out, and with each one we'll try and maybe do a giveaway, or with some of them we'll do a giveaway, won't we? And we'll just try and interact as much as possible.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to call
Good
it
stuff.
quits.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks, guys. It's been amazing. Benji's thumb. That's all you get in a Benji.
That's all you get.
He's like the Stig of the superbike surgery. Right. Thanks, guys. Take it easy. See you soon. Right. Turn it off. How do we turn it off?
Do I just press the X?
Well, I guess so.